The ISC, it's really a dream, a brainchild that started probably over 15 years ago.
Well, the International School of Communications is not a stagnant thing that you can just say, this is it right now.
The ISC is designed about evolution, evolving, constant change.
Well, my definition of international school was various types of students who have different qualities, dislikes, likes.
Everyone
Those students
can come together to
arrive
one mindset, all full of different mindsets in a way. Everyone thinks differently, but ultimately we have the same goals, and we all do it well together.
The world in the future is going to be changing faster and faster. Our students need to be able to do that. Therefore, there is no static ISC.
Well, we really wanted to create a place where kids felt like they belonged, where they wanted to come to school every day, where they didn't dread it, where they weren't just a number. We wanted the kids to be known.
The environment here is probably the best part about the ISC. The people and the experience that you have here is just absolutely incredible. I love how kind and welcoming everybody is all the time.
So in German school, it's all educationally focused, so there's no after-school activities, there's no clubs, there's no sports, there's nothing extracurricular about the school. It's just all curricular.
And so over lunchtime conversations, we would talk about what we wanted to see in a school, what we wanted to change.
We want it to be a place where students learn to solve problems, where they learn to be proactive, where they learn to advocate for themselves.
Where kids felt challenged but supported, so that they weren't just doing work that was busy work to get it done just to get a credit. We really wanted to create citizens of our earth that were thoughtful, that were good thinkers, that cared about their communities, that cared about the environment.
People that can communicate well.
ISC had choir in it and video production, so a lot of art stuff. And to me, I thought that communication aspect where we can communicate with people and interact with people was a great part for the ISC.
The ISC is filled with kids who have a real desire to learn. They don't wait and sit back for other people to take charge of their learning, but they take charge of it.
And groups of teachers just realized that traditional education wasn't hitting the mark, and it was missing a lot of kids and alienating a lot of people. And then when the Marysville School District decided to go to the SLC model, that was back in like 2006, 2005, we wrote up an official proposal for what we wanted to see in a school, and that was voted on by the district teachers at the high school level, and we came out as one of the SLCs that could exist.
Well, my first day of school, it was my first day of high school, and it was the first day that ISC was like a real thing.
The days of chaos, yes, I remember them fondly.
The intent was to find the leaders of the school. The intent was to introduce this concept of change, risking spectacular. This days of chaos was to also help the staff acclimatize to what we were looking for when we were doing problem-based learning.
We call them the days of chaos, but they were actually really well structured. We had previously put together a booklet. Every kid got a booklet with day 1, day 2, day 3, had what we were doing, when we were doing it, what the criteria were for doing it. So even though they're called chaos, it was really well structured chaos.
The days of chaos were just the way we started the ISC, and we did it quickly.
First day at ISC, we had quite the pageant.
You can imagine the great cavern known as the Auditorium of MP.
And so we went to the auditorium, and all the teachers were dressed up in graduation outfits.
Like they wear graduation. Dr. Nyland was there. The mayor was there.
And then we all went into the gym and we drank some water, which was weird.
We had those little plastic champagne glasses, and everybody got a little bottle of water.
We toasted it because the ISC is about tradition also, not only about change. There are certain things we want to continue with. The ISC's traditions, those things that need to be passed down from older to younger as we go. They're very, very valuable.
I felt like that when the teachers were trying to establish something, I thought just like, okay, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun.
We thought this was a really important event, a really big deal, and that we could really do something with this school. And so we wanted to start it off with something that was noteworthy.
We had small group activities where people got to know each other. We mingled with seniors, other freshmen, juniors, and there were lots of group competitions.
We set it up so that the students were faced with a variety of challenging tasks, engaging tasks, maybe sometimes silly tasks like building paper towers. I'm trying to remember all those.
It was just the activities within the day weren't, we didn't tell you what to do, how to do it. We said, you need to do this now, but it's up to you to figure out how to do it.
When you go put people through problems to solve, and you watch them solve problems, leaders actually come to the top.
It was fun because we were still trying to figure out where to go, and that was when they introduced the idea of the houses.
The leaders emerged, and students, the peers noticed who showed leadership, and from that we elected our first set of prefects and house heads.
So within the days of chaos, they voted. At that next time, we talked about the prefects, because we needed to fill the advisories. So we took those leaders that wanted. We had to have the heads of house get voted in first before we could do the prefects, because these leaders who didn't become the head of house ended up still wanted to be a leader in a leadership potential, so therefore they were the prefects.
We were doing some activities on the floor within the houses. What I remember is some students seeing that Nick Burgess was up in the stands and he wasn't able to come down because he wasn't very mobile.
I didn't want to participate for some reason, mainly because I didn't want to walk all the way down there. So what they did was they pretty much had the whole school carry me down the stairs.
And when the teacher saw that, we said, that is what this school is about. That's what we want. We want kids who are looking out for each other, who are caring about each other, and who want to include everyone.
It was pretty awesome.
There's no anonymity like in the old big school model where there's drifters and people don't even know who they are.
It made me feel like I belonged somewhere, which was awesome, because I don't know, I didn't really feel that very much.
We wanted ISC, we want everybody to matter, because everybody does. There's no room for drifters in our school. We need to embrace everybody.
The house system is actually the main pillar of the ISC.
For the novice, it's dividing our school into 4 big groups: Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Delta.
The idea behind the house system was that one of the problems we felt a traditional high school had was there were too many kids who didn't feel like they belonged.
It gets you to bond with people who you kind of probably would never talk to outside of the school if you never met them in the house system.
I was praying to be in Gamma, but all of a sudden, when I heard my name get called into Gamma, I was like, no, I was loud, I was happy, and I just felt like the entire atmosphere of that day, I felt like that entire atmosphere, everyone wanted to be there.
We decided that we would devise the 4 houses because it was convenient to have 100 kids in each house, and that gave us a structure to run things like our advisory program, a mentorship program. It gave us a vehicle for running competitions.
I like to compare it to what we know, and that's ASB and how that works. We have the president, we have the vice president, the treasurer, the secretary, and other positions that were developed. The cool thing about the house system is that it disperses power evenly. So it's not just one person. I mean, evenly, it's 4 people, but so you have 4 people now that all play that role, and so it's not one person making the big decisions, it's 4 people communicating, making a group decision.
There's such small groups, so if you think about, you have your house, and then you have advisories within your house, and then you have prefectures within your advisory, and there's an upperclassman who's a prefect who can connect with all the incoming freshmen and the new students, so they immediately feel that no, they're just not a freshman who's going to end up in a garbage can somewhere, but they are a freshman that's an important part of the school, and the seniors and the juniors and the sophomores are friendly and open and welcoming, not judgmental.
To me, the house system is really cool because it offers a lot of different opportunities for students to get involved with leadership.
And so the house system helped us to develop those multiple grade friendships. So it's not just like you mind your own business and you go to your freshman classes, but that you're really interacting with kids so that you can transmit the culture of the ISC, the culture of caring and academic excellence that we were trying to nurture.
To reduce fear, you need to have people that care about you. The definition of love out of a book called The Road Less Traveled says, the will to extend oneself for one's own or another's spiritual growth. If you know people are out there that really care about you, then you're going to tend to do better. It's a safer environment. You're willing to take more risks. You're willing to learn more and faster. The house system is designed to be essentially an academic support, not just a fun game kind of playing. It's designed to to help the big elephants teach the little elephants the tradition and the cultures of our school.
Because part of the whole deal is you have to transmit your culture. So how do we do that? We have existing students who understand the importance of houses and understand the importance of caring about each other and understanding what it means to be an ISC student, who can kind of take the freshmen under their wing and make sure the freshmen get it.
Is it necessary? Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Without the house system, I feel like we would just be every other high school. We wouldn't really have anything unique about us. The house system creates that environment and brings us a lot closer as a little family. Like whenever I come back from break, I always feel like I'm coming home. I just love it here.
The house system's who we are. And so to take that away, man, that would be rough. I mean, I love all my students that I have, but there's still like everyone that's an alpha. You know, there's something special about all the alpha students because we spend so much time together, we compete together.
The house system is a necessary part of the ISC because it makes us different, it makes us interconnected. It's not just like you're drifting through the hallway. It's a place where every kid can make friends with freshmen can be friends with seniors, and seniors with sophomores, and juniors and freshmen, and it's not about division, it's about unity, and it's about really creating a caring community of students and learners who care about their school and each other.
Would you say the house system is vital to the ISC?
It is the ISC.
One reason that we chose this model is there could be so many student leaders also because we wanted to develop leadership. One of the founding visions for the ISC is to develop leadership in all our students, not just a certain few, but all of our students, which explains our reasoning behind the Day of Chaos, which explains our reasoning behind having multiple mentors, but also prefects and house heads. So the fact that we would have 4 presidents instead of 1, that we would have different houses where kids had more say about the personality of each of their houses. You have a friendly competition. We envisioned having a lot more activities than we've even yet realized, and we hope to grow into that.
The academics, the rigor, the relationships, the relevancy, all comes through the ISC. It comes through the house system. You belong to a group. The group supports you. First of all, the ISC is the big family, and you break down into smaller families known as the houses, alpha, beta, gamma, delta.
Yeah, it'd be tough to lose that. It's I like the competitions within that. It kind of brings our school together when, you know, I see all my alpha kids, and you know, we won the House Cup last year, and there's still something special about that. You know, I remember last year Jake, I still have that glass that he had that said break glass or something like that, break the glass if we win or something like that, and we finally won. We've been so close so many years, and it's not something that just the students get into either. You can see the staff members really get into it, and I don't know, anytime you have competition and when you have to rely on other people, a team, I think that brings people together. So to lose that, man, it's like kind of taking your soul away, you know? You just, it would be a huge part of our school that would be missing.
My favorite house head memory. Sorting assembly, there we go. Yeah, I looked like a goober with that white mask on or whatever I had, you know, but I met some really cool people, and I was really happy with the kids that were selected in the Alpha House, and to this day I was really happy with the cream of the crop I got, and some of them still talk to me about, like, you were the inspiration for me wanting to go in the Alpha House, and I was like, that's what I wanted, you know. I wanted to inspire everyone that came into my house to be the best they could be.
My favorite memory from the ISC was when we did the lip dub. We did one tribe, so we got everyone together and we had the freshmen go around and they were singing, and everyone else was around them. We were spraying them with silly string and throwing glitter, and it looked really cool, and it was fun to bring that unity and love to the ISC.
And we created this new culture that was different through the houses and the family kind of feel, that we can be saying, hey, you know what, there was gum all over the sidewalks at MP, and we always used to think that was terrible, and things were trashed. And we said, we're going to have this beautiful school before we're done, and we need to have this culture of preserving that. So we just said, you know, this is how we're going to show it. It's one thing when a teacher tells you don't litter. It's another thing when all your students are saying, hey, we don't do that in the ISC, or we don't put people down. We don't bully people in the ISC. We don't treat people like that. That's not what we are. What is our culture? An example just this year of that ISC culture from the beginning is still hanging on in a lot of our students, that they understand. We had Jake and Brandon, two of our seniors, who decided that because there'd been some garbage left out, that they were going to playfully remind people that's not the way that we do things in the ISC. So they get on their business suits and their sunglasses and they're standing out by the mess.
We had some issues with food, and they dressed up in a Risk Spectacularly way.
And you know, I haven't seen messes happening since then. The kids didn't get in trouble, they didn't get written up. Instead, the seniors said that's not what we do here by their actions, and in a playful way they showed this positive leadership to get kids to think twice about the way they're treating their school and the respect that they're just showing each other by the decisions they're making about whether they throw away their lunch trash or not.
The ISC, it's where I devoted my life, really.
It's so different than the other schools, and so unless you're part of it, you really don't know what that's like. I mean, you guys know because you're in it now, but it's hard to explain to other people the kind of thing that we do. It's a family.
Well, if you're talking about the values, I mean, I think a lot of people talk about family.
On the ISC, you really are part of my family. I really love you guys. You know, so I say, everybody says, yeah, ISC is like family. I'm like, okay, I know not everybody feels that way, but I do. You know, I care a lot about all of you.
Not just with staff, but it's with students. I don't think I would ever, with this kind of setting in the National School of Communications, I would never have the relationships that I have with students if I worked at a big comprehensive high school.
This is what I hope it is. I hope it feels like family to kids. I hope it feels welcoming to people, and I hope people feel supported here on whatever level that means.
You know, we talk about discipline, focused intention, focused attention, and focused effort. Is that the spirit of it? You know, when you walk down the hall, do you say hi? Is the spirit an African concept called Ubuntu? You know, what is it? I don't know. Spirit is very intangible. It's a feeling.
I love the International School of Communications and the types of things that we do and the opportunities that we have. I think this is why in a lot of our assemblies you see other SLCs trying to get in here, and they're constantly I think poor Mrs. Hansen had to miss, I think, 2 of the talent shows because there's other schools trying to break in and watch what we're doing.
Not trying to say anything, but when that show came, not only was the auditorium filled with ISC people, but there are a lot of people that skip schools and skip class from other schools that came into there. I know a bunch of other friends who came to go watch the show.
I would definitely say my last talent show that I helped put together, when me and John did the Single Ladies Dance. That's probably the one thing I remember the most. It was just one of those spontaneous things where I was just like, oh, this is gonna be so embarrassing. And all my friends were like, oh, you look so uncomfortable. I'm like, well, you know, we planned it that way, you know, I just let loose for the first time in my life probably, and went up there, had fun, and I say we nailed it.
And not just the talent show, I mean, you got all the different house competitions. I mean, like I said, those types of things bring people together, and I think that's what makes international school communications, you know, so great. Not just the house system, but I mean, you know, you got an amazing staff here that work really, really hard to make it a fun environment, to make it rigorous, and we've had some good results. And some really, really good kids come through here.
I love being a part of the ISC because it's a school where creativity is honored, creativity is celebrated.
Right now, being in university, I've learned from ISC that communication is a huge and it's an important tool for students to learn, because in university when you have huge classes and sometimes like first day you go into the classroom, it's a huge class, you have 50-60 people in the classroom and you have no clue what the professor is talking about. So you talk to the person next to you and like, hi, do you know what's going on? And so you mingle with other people, you communicate with other people, you build a small group and group studies, and that's how you pass a class. So communication is a huge tool, and I learned a lot from ISC. I learned how to become a leader. So that's my favorite memories of ISC.
The ISC really changed my life. I had no direction. I never really thought about it until I got to the ISC. And that, honestly, the ISC changed my life. And you know, people are like, oh, it's just high school, you know, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it's high school. High school is a stepping stone for your future.
There's nothing like when the magazine comes out and my students in writing for publication are so excited about the articles that they've written that they see distributed in the school and community. And there's nothing like watching videos that the kids have produced, or just turning on the TV and knowing that's our kids that are broadcasting on Channel 26, or going to a movie that was filmed, produced, and acted in by our own kids. I mean, I love the creative passion and the creative energy in the ISC, and that makes it exciting to go to work and watch what the kids are going to accomplish next.
The teacher relationship in Germany and the ISC is so different because in Germany it's so formal, and when they walk into the classroom you stand up and you have to greet them formally, and when you talk to them you just have to use the formal case with them. And in the ISC, just the teachers, while they were also your teachers, you could just joke around with them, you could have fun, they're also your friends.
Risking spectacularly is not sitting back in the corner while the rest of the people in your house are working on a house cheer and being enthusiastic.
To me, risk spectacularly means that you gotta just go for it sometimes. You gotta don't play it safe all the time because you probably won't get anywhere.
It's not being afraid of failure, or not even necessarily not being afraid of it, but still doing it, failing forward.
Risking spectacularly is not sitting back in the back of the room and just trying to write the right answers.
Risking spectacularly for me is going to Germany, leaving behind everything you know and love and everything that is familiar to you for a different culture, a different language, in a country that you've never been to before and where you know nobody.
It's having the courage to take on something that you didn't think you could accomplish and that you were afraid to do.
When you're presented with a difficult challenge, not sitting down and just waiting for something to happen.
Thinking outside the box, pushing the envelope to go where you don't think you can go.
Risk involves failure at times, and that's the way you grow and you exceed your expectations. It's about doing wonderful things instead of just being passive and just doing what's safe.
The whole idea is to reduce fear. The concept is, since it's about constant change, you have to be willing to try new things. If you know it all, then you're not going to do very well in a world that is constant changing. So risking spectacularly is the idea that you celebrate people challenging themselves to do things in new ways.
You know, a lot of times we emotionally get attached to being right all the time, and so you have to be able to take a risk to get better. I remember the Michael Jordan commercial, and he's actually going through all the mistakes he made.
I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career.
I missed so many game-winning shots, so many free throws.
I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life.
But he talked about all these mistakes he made, and at the very end he says, "But that's what makes me great," and that's a big Nike commercial. But it kind of speaks to that you have to risk it. You have to make mistakes, and then if you make them big, and you learn from them, and you move on. But you're never going to learn from those if you're not willing to risk it.
And whether you succeed or whether you fail is really beside the point. It's that you took that risk, you took that step, you pushed yourself, and just by doing that, you succeeded. Because anytime you do that, you grow. Whether the outcome was a failure or a success, growth is always a success.
Forgiveness. Forgiveness is probably the biggest risk you can take. And so risking spectacularly is all of those things. It's almost like a way of life.
It's about going beyond what you think you can do in a safe environment where people respect the try more than the outcome. We tend to learn from our mistakes. Human beings by nature learn the most from mistakes. That's the purpose of the risk spectacularly. So we celebrate the try. And then you learn from your mistakes, you do better the next time. That's risk spectacularly.
So the ISC is about change. Everything changes all the time. And so the future of the ISC, well, that just involves continuing to change, continuing to improve, continuing to strive for the best that we can be.
It's about the I have a dream speech. Well, this is just our dream. The question is, you don't want to sell this dream to people. You don't want to sell them a 10-point plan. You want to say this: what are you going to do to help grow the ISC?
How do you start your ambitions if you don't have spirit? Spirit is a really big thing. And don't give up. You guys are still young. You're still young. And that's the cool thing.
And over the years I've been in ISC, there's been large classes and small classes and government funding cuts and better times. And so the only thing that remains constant is change. It's always going to change. And if you have a school full of problem solvers and a staff full of problem solvers who understand that that's the nature of our existence, then the future of the ISC hopefully is continual change and improvement, but also continuing to value the contribution that students could make, because we don't want to just be a traditional school where students sit in their seats and they're told what to do. We really had this vision of impassioned, engaged students whose efforts made a real difference in their community.
The ISC is actually a dream, and it's based philosophically on some whys. Why do we do certain things? The what and the what we do and how we do it will constantly change. The why shouldn't. Downstairs you have the posters. You walk into the building and you look at it. It's on the wall. It tells us the why.
People, I still feel alone, and let me go home. Oh, I miss you, you know. Let me go home.
The why is the dream, and then we all agree to it.
So the ISC is just a training ground for what you need in real life, to have responsible citizens who make real positive contributions to the world, and they're the kind of people that take initiative that others would come to for help. Of course, they understand what it is to be a member of a family, and they know that sometimes they're the ones who need help, and that's what it is. It's all about being an interactive community and a highly engaged community. So you can reach your own level of happiness and productivity and satisfaction here on Earth.
The people who work here are wonderful too, but honestly, when it comes down to it, I'm here for the kids. I'm here for you guys because I love you and I believe that you can become amazing. You already are amazing people, but you can become more amazing and really affect some change in a world that is going to really need some serious caretakers.
That's why I love the ISC. You guys are creative. You guys can talk. You guys can share ideas without. And that's what makes a school. That's what makes a school. You got your teamwork and your individual efforts. And if you put that all together, you guys can make something special, just like the house heads and I previously did, just to work for you guys to be here. And I'm glad that it's still alive. I'm glad that it's still alive.
How many years has it been since we started? And you look back and to see the growth. And I hope that the students and staff don't do that. They don't just look at the past and get hung up on that and not think about how we used to have it, but how we can make it even better now. So keep pushing forward.
I would say to be positive in everything that you do and to always show love to one another.
There is a YouTube video, and it talks about this young lady. I think she's 12 or 13 years old, and she's addressing the United Nations in Brazil.
Hello, I'm Severin Suzuki, speaking for ECHO, the Environmental Children's Organization. We're a group of 12 and 13-year-olds trying to make a difference. Vanessa Setti, Morgan Geisler, Michelle Quigg, and me. We've raised all the money to come here ourselves, to come 5,000 miles to tell you adults you must change your ways.
We did a quick research. She's in her late 30s, early 40s right now, and she is still working in environmental concerns with endangered species.
I want to see the spirit through the roof. I want to see you guys just going crazy, just everyone decked out in red, green, blue, and yellow. Yeah, no confetti or anything like that, but you know, just glitter. No glitter or anything like that. But I just want to see the spirit just go through the roof. You know, I want to see, you know, everyone being involved, everyone cheering. You know, go Alpha, go Gamma, go Beta, go Delta. You know.
What you start doing and you find out that you find the love for, then you continue with it. My hope is the ISC honors everybody and helps them find their dream. That's the whole purpose of the STAR.
The ISC will always be my second home. I always just felt really comfortable there, and I felt like I belonged there, and I felt like the teachers were like a second kind of parents to me, and I feel like all the students were just so close, and I know everyone says this and it's so cliche, but the ISC really is a family, and they're my second home.
You know, my hope is that you guys find your dream. That's the hope for the ISC, to help you find it.
What I hoped it would be versus what it is right now, those two things aren't, you know, they're not real close together right now. I still hope that they can become closer together. It's a growth process, just like everything. You know, we're all growing and developing, and if my original hopes and dreams aren't going to work out, then maybe I need to tweak it and see where else we can go with it. But
got a long ways to go. I hope we won't get there.
Out of the tree of life I just picked me a plum. You came along.
Do you want me to say what all the classes I teach? Could I say I have a dog?
Merry Christmas. I'm sorry, I'm joking. It's January, guys.
I try to stay away using the Harry Potter things for the ISC, but he was like Albus. He was like Albus Dumbledore.
All right.
And I remember telling Mrs. Hansen when I finally was accepted, she was so excited about it, and she wants to hear everything about my time in Germany. And so I can't really, while Mrs. Lefstad and Mrs. Kreger wrote my letters of recommendation, everyone in general was extremely supportive of my desire to go abroad.
I've been teaching for 32 years. I hope to teach for 15 more. I don't want it to go away.
Probably one of the greatest schooling experiences I've ever experienced.
From my house, we believe in justice, and we believe in fairness, and we believe in buffness, and that's how we won. I believe that's how we won.
Your blocking is light.
I need good light.
The ISC is like my home away from home. Even though I'm not there anymore, I can still refer back to it, and it's just been an awesome school for me, and it's just changed my life. For the better.
Because people need to know that they belong somewhere.
We should get rid of the cup and we should get like belts, like championship belts that we could trade off and wear. Like these, except bigger and like more bling bling.
More.
You know what it means? You know what it means? It's not International School of Communications. It's International School of Champions. That's what it means to me.
Some teachers that influenced me were Mr. Chapin. Mr. Chapin the most, I think. He always told us to reach for our dreams, and he would show by action and not just by, oh, you're cool. He would show us, and it was a good influence, and it made me be a better person.
Are you really gonna ask me this?
I need more words, man. International. We are a school, and we can communicate.
I'm the original alpha female. I know we have 2 alpha females now, but I was the original alpha female, so.
I hope that they don't give up. I hope that they continue to keep this school growing just as you guys are.
My shout out to all my peers who graduated and who are still there. Good luck, you guys. Hope you guys make everybody proud in ISC and you succeed in life. You learn a lot from ISC. You get involved in ISC and see the beauty of ISC and the student-led school.
Well, there was things in particular that stuck with me, like never giving up, and there was something that he told me my sophomore year. He said, when you're out of high school, you don't have the luxury of being lazy, and I didn't understood what he meant by that until I got out of high school, and now you really don't have the luxury of being lazy.
Am I boring? Are you leaving because it's boring? Okay.
I hope Chapin is still singing. I hope you're singing, still singing, because I'll sing with you if you want me to. Let's do a little duet. I'll get Mark back together and we'll sing The Climb, like the higher version, part 2.
I can't say the challenge. Remember, it was like we were ripping alpha and there was like some rap along with it. But here's the thing. It wasn't what was said that was so cool. It was that everyone was doing it. You can do stupid stuff. If you're in unison, it'll look cool. You know what I mean? I mean, just like a dance or something like that. You know, a routine. You can do simple moves, but if everyone's doing the routine together, something simplistic could look really cool.
And then I remembered NGU and NGU. Never give up. Never, never give up. And I just sat in my room and, you know.
Thank you.
That's helpful.
In Latin, there's a phrase, qui nihil discere volt, nihil discere potest. The one who wants to learn, or the one who wants to learn nothing, is able to learn nothing, but the converse is true. So the person who wants to learn, has a burning desire, a passion to learn, they can't be held back from learning. And that's what the ISC means to me.
No problem, Jake.
Have a great night. Bye.
Thanks, you too.
Go Alpha. Back-to-back house cups, right?
Love you. Concise. You're talking to me. I can do it.
We're gonna have you. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you. Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Everybody was kind of confused, scared, and I was in Mrs. Krieger's class, and she said, I know you guys all want to be in Piltreg, but it's okay. We're here. We're like family. And we went to the assemblies, and
make people feel like they belong. Just include people in everything. Please, just don't exclude anybody, because including people is what the ISC does. Like that's our thing. That's our MO.
Thank you very much. Perfect. You're welcome.
And so the ISC is a huge part of my life. Probably right now, excluding Family Matters, it's actual Family Matters, not the TV show.
Great show.
It's probably the biggest part of my life.
I get updates from my teachers asking how I'm doing, and I'm just so thankful that I went to such an amazing school where all the students and all the teachers are so caring and so helpful and so wonderful. And so thank you, ISC, for being so awesome.
Mr. Christopher, you guys are making a full movie. I was like, what? What was that? What was this? Where was I in this? You still have new talent come in, and I don't know her name, but she's a pretty good singer and a good guitar player. You still have so much. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. I heard you guys have so much creativity to work with.
And there were even times when we were at MP when we'd hear these rumors that other people in the school were calling us some sort of cult because we seemed to be so tight, like we were this family, and I was like, the ISC, yeah, that's a cult.
You could even be called the International School of Creativity. That's the thing I like about this school, is that you guys are so creative.
I gotta do my W, my dubs. Go Dogs. Go Dogs.
That satisfaction is actually pretty good because there is no such thing. Get it? I like that a lot, actually. Satisfaction. I like that a lot. Yeah, satisfaction is a better word than satisfaction.
Freshman year was Mr. Lefstead, Mrs. Kreger. Sophomore year it was Mr. K. And junior year, Mrs. Clancy, Mrs. Lefstead, Mr. Chapin. I think everyone somehow inspired me.
Creative. You guys are doing video. You're making this documentary.
In the early days of ISC, we were getting so excited about ourselves. We kind of had some swag that maybe sometimes was thought of as inappropriate.
Shout out to Mrs. Lefstead for being my mama.
Go ISC.